So apparently, Meghan Markle wasn't about to fade into the background like every other ex-royal wife who quietly retreats behind palace walls. No, not her. If she couldn't keep Prince Harry, she'd keep control of the story. And when the whispers started echoing through the gossip columns, they didn't sound like sympathy. They sounded like revenge disguised as concern. Somewhere between Montecito's luxury gates and London's tabloids, a secret escaped. A secret that only one person could have whispered, because Radar Online didn't magically stumble upon the brand of medication sitting on Prince Harry's sink. That kind of detail doesn't leak by accident. Someone had to light the match. And the rumors all trace back to one woman, Rachel Meghan Markle, the self-styled Duchess of Drama, the woman who turned silence into a weapon sharper than any sword the crown ever forged. The story was brutal. They said Harry had been fighting off baldness with a chemical cocktail, finasteride, minoxidil, the kind that saves your hairline but sometimes steals your confidence. The gossip didn't stop at science. It dove straight into the private, the painful, the personal. Overnight, the prince's medical routine turned into late-night punchlines. Every headline dripped with mockery. Every meme cut deeper than the last, and that's what made people pause. Who would gain from his humiliation? Not his barber, not his friends. Only the woman who once called him soulmate and now called him liability. Meghan Markle didn't just open the closet, she decorated it, filmed it, and sold tickets. This wasn't a careless slip. It was strategy disguised as heartbreak. A message in headlines, "You don't get to leave me, I end the movie." Insiders painted a cold picture of what life inside their mansion had become. Two people sharing square footage, not souls. Prince Harry reportedly slept in a separate room. Meghan Markle buried herself in projects, the kind that conveniently placed her in the public eye and him in the shadows. The smiles for photographers looked polished, but behind them, there was distance you could measure in miles. After the second child, the affection evaporated. What used to be passion turned into polite indifference. Friends close to the couple whispered that Harry felt invisible, while Meghan seemed bored, like a director stuck with an actor who'd forgotten his lines. And instead of fighting for love, she started rehearsing her exit. Because Meghan Markle doesn't get dumped. She rewrites the ending before the credits roll. So the narrative flipped. Suddenly she was the misunderstood heroine, the woman who tried everything, while subtle lines began surfacing about Harry's changes, mood swings, distance. The implication was clear. Something was wrong with him, not her. And if you connect the dots, it all traced back to that tiny bottle on his bathroom counter. That's how you weaponize privacy in the age of perception. You turn someone's vulnerability into your redemption arc. Every quote from sources close to Meghan made her sound graceful, patient, heartbroken, while Harry was portrayed as fragile, confused, and pitiful. It wasn't just gossip. It was narrative engineering, but then came the darker whispers, the ones that didn't make print right away. Allegedly, Meghan Markle had kept receipts. Not receipts you can return, but ones you can ruin someone with. Private clips. Old videos. Late-night recordings of Prince Harry at his weakest, drinking too much, slurring, stumbling, or maybe even worse. Insiders claimed she'd shown snippets to friends as proof of how unmanageable things had become. Proof or leverage? Depends on who you ask. Imagine that. The woman who once promised to protect your heart now holding your secrets like bargaining chips. Every man's nightmare, the ex who knows every password, every scar, every angle. Prince Harry, according to sources, was panicking. Every morning felt like another chance for a headline to ruin what little dignity he had left. Because when a relationship dies publicly, the worst thing isn't heartbreak, it's exposure. And exposure was exactly what Meghan Markle was serving. Not with anger, but with precision. She's not the type to scream, she's the type to leak. Every news story, every exclusive from a friend, was a perfectly placed chess move. She wasn't just talking to the public, she was talking to Harry through headlines. Every word said what she wanted him to feel: powerless, guilty, replaceable. To Meghan, control isn't about love, it's about legacy. She's built her empire on reinvention. From actress to duchess to global humanitarian, every stage of her life has been a performance dressed up as evolution. But what happens when the script flips? When the spotlight that once adored you starts to dim? For Meghan Markle, losing control is worse than losing affection. So she crafted a new act, one where she exits the stage, but not before setting the curtains on fire, and that's exactly what this leak did. It burned everything. The privacy. The sympathy. The illusion of grace. Prince Harry's dignity became collateral damage in her war for narrative power. Once the world read that his wife allegedly blamed intimacy issues on his medication, the fairy tale was dead. The public didn't see a couple in crisis, they saw a man humiliated by the woman who knew his weakest truths. That's the thing about Meghan Markle, she doesn't fight with fists, she fights with headlines. And every headline hits harder than any punch could. For her, silence isn't peace, it's planning. She studies how people look at her, then edits the scene. So when Prince Harry thought he could step away quietly, she made sure quiet wasn't an option. Behind every smile at charity galas and every quote about empowerment, there's calculation. The leak about the meds, the whispers about distance, the pity narratives, all of it, a symphony of control. Meghan Markle doesn't lose. She rebrands. And this was just the beginning. Let's rewind this royal storm, because every downfall has its timeline. What looked like a fairy tale began as a slow fracture hiding under flashbulbs and vows. The wedding, all diamonds and choirs, felt like destiny to the cameras. But to insiders, Meghan Markle was already scripting the sequel. She wasn't just marrying love, she was marrying leverage. And Prince Harry, poor man, thought devotion could outrun legacy. The honeymoon came and went, glossy and distant. He chased connection, she chased narrative. For a while they played the roles well, him, the rebel prince escaping tradition, her, the brave duchess defying the crown. But somewhere between palaces and podcasts, they stopped being partners and became brands. And when love turns into marketing, truth starts to dissolve. After the second child, the distance became visible. The warmth on red carpets vanished first. Harry looked tired, always a step behind. Meghan Markle looked luminous but detached, as if she were posing for a future without him. That's when the so-called hair saga began, the quiet leak that would set the internet on fire. Suddenly, gossip sites knew the exact medication in his cabinet. Not just the product, the dosage, the label, the purpose. Too specific to be random. Too cruel to be coincidence. The story was framed like concern, friends worrying about side effects, fearing for the marriage. But between the lines, it screamed humiliation. What better way to break a man who once wore a crown than to question his pride where it hurts the most? It wasn't pity, it was punishment wrapped in politeness. Meghan didn't need to raise her voice, the tabloids did it for her. Each headline chipped away at his confidence until even his reflection looked like betrayal. And then came the next wave, the whispers that rattled the palace walls. Some claimed Meghan Markle never carried the children herself, that surrogates were used quietly, contracts signed in silence. No evidence, no confirmation, just whispers so dangerous they could scorch a lineage. For the British establishment, even the suggestion of false bloodline is unthinkable. And yet somehow that rumor reached the press like clockwork. Imagine the panic. Prince Harry, caught between defending his wife and doubting the reality of his own family, spiraling in confusion. The palace, allegedly scrambling to contain headlines before breakfast. Every royal aide suddenly allergic to phones. Because, if there's one thing the monarchy fears more than scandal, it's deception wrapped in motherhood. By then, the emotional distance had turned physical. He stopped calling old friends. He stopped smiling in public. Sources said he was pacing at night, glass in hand, haunted by what else she might unleash. Because Meghan Markle didn't fight. Like normal people, she fought with evidence, or at least the illusion of it. And the idea that she still possessed those private videos, those recordings from their wilder days, terrified him more than any royal reprimand ever could. Every leak felt like a countdown. Every new exclusive, like another bullet. And through it all, she appeared radiant, calm, glowing, almost untouchable. The woman who once sobbed on talk shows about privacy was now photographed daily, walking to cafes in designer beige, a walking metaphor for revenge wrapped in serenity. Every smile said, "I'm fine." Every outfit said, "I won." Behind the curtain, divorce papers were reportedly being crafted like screenplays. The statements ready, the sympathy angles rehearsed. Meghan Markle would be the survivor, misunderstood yet triumphant. Prince Harry would be the tragic man undone by his demons. That's how narrative works, one must fall for the other to rise. When they appeared together, the difference was chilling. She strode ahead, phone in hand. He followed, head down, a step too slow. Their fingers no longer met. Their eyes no longer searched for each other. The sparkle the world fell for had died, replaced by something hollow. Body language experts called it disconnection. Fans called it reality. But for Meghan Markle, this was the art of survival. Every gesture choreographed, every silence calculated. She knew the cameras were still her allies. She didn't need to defend herself, she only needed to look unbothered while he unraveled. And that, in the court of public opinion, is checkmate, because the cruelest part? Prince Harry left the monarchy believing he was escaping manipulation. He didn't realize he was walking into a more sophisticated one. In Meghan's world, perception is currency, and she spends it lavishly. She controls tone, timing, and tension like a director staging her masterpiece. Now he's the ghost of the prince who once rebelled for love, pacing halls, battling memories, watching the internet replay his humiliation on loop. And she's the phoenix of Montecito, all calm glow and controlled narrative. Preparing her next act, the memoirs, the documentaries, the journey to self-healing. When she said, "I do," maybe what she truly meant was, "I decide." Because Meghan Markle doesn't lose control. She transfers it. Every rumor, every tear, every paparazzi flash, part of her script. Every secret Harry thought was buried, another souvenir in her story of reinvention. So as the world watches the curtain close on their royal romance, it's clear who wrote the ending. Prince Harry, stripped of dignity and direction, searching for peace. Meghan Markle, standing tall, lips painted, eyes dry, reputation reborn. The love story that began with a kiss beneath cathedral bells ends with silence and strategy. The prince traded a crown for freedom, but freedom came with a cost. And the Duchess, she walks away untouched, clutching the narrative like a new crown. Because in her kingdom, truth is optional, timing is everything, and the throne belongs to whoever tells the better story.